Hello Guy and welcome back to another episode of the Sealed Q&A Part 3. Chapter 3, Konoha Business. Naruto slumped against a tree and sat down as he saw Jiraiya talking to Mato Guy, with Sasuke over his shoulder. Itachi had really done a number on that kid and Naruto knew it was mostly his fault, but defended himself with the fact that Sasuke either didn't notice or didn't care that Itachi was in such a pissy mood. And what kind of genin tries to stay and fight Itachi Uchiha by choice? Itachi looked pissed off when he beat Sasuke too. Naruto called his bad on that. Naruto had gotten his ass saved by Sasuke's assistance and he knew it. It had given Jiraiya enough time to find him and drive the Nin duo off before they could refocus on him. Thank goodness the old sage could back up all of that posturing with skill. Gaki, come over here. Naruto stood and walked over to Jiraiya and Guy. While he was pissed off at Jiraiya, he had to admit, without his timely interference he would have gotten turned into hamburger. Guy gave Naruto a blinding smile as he got close. Yash Naruto-kun, you have certainly shown yourself to be quite flushed with the power of youth today. Holding off those two like you did. Naruto looked at Guy strangely. Thanks Guy-san. I was useless though. They could have killed me whenever they wanted, they needed me alive. Guy shook his head, smile still in place, and you are alive, are you not? And that means you have another day to get stronger. Another day to prepare yourself and make sure this doesn't happen again. Naruto smiled faintly. You're right. I need to worry about getting ready for the next time something like this happens. Naruto clenched his fists. There's no way that guys like that are going to get the drop on me ever again. Guy shifted Sasuke on his shoulders. Well, I do hope that you two are successful in your mission. We could use her expertise for more than just Sasuke-kun here. Kakashi got hit as well. Naruto looked at Guy. Kakashi made eye contact. Guy nodded and began reaching for something on his person. Jiraiya grabbed Naruto by his shoulder. We should go, kid. We'll lose the trail if we stay after all of this. Naruto grunted as Jiraiya pulled him away. Later Guy-san. Tell Rock Lee and Tenten I said hi. Guy gave him a thumbs up and a smile in return before turning to blaze a trail back to Konoha. Naruto noticed Jiraiya was hurrying him away. Why are you pulling me so fast, Arrow Sennin? Jiraiya looked down and back out at the road ahead. He was going to give you one of those god-awful jumpsuits, kid. There was no way I was letting you go back to such horrendous clothing after you just started looking decent. Naruto scoffed and slapped Jiraiya's hand off of his shoulder. Don't touch me. You aren't off of the hook yet. You and the old man screwed me over. I'm a joke in Konoha these days because of what you guys did. Itachi and Kisame treated me like a piece of crap back there, and while it helped keep me alive and out of their hands, it was insulting. Naruto grumbled as he stomped down the road. I've got at least 2 S-rank Nukenin after me and I'm a sitting duck if they decide to get serious on me. We seriously need to finish this mission so I can work on getting back up to snuff. Jiraiya shook his head as they traversed the roads. XXX. Naruto had calmed down over the course of the next few days. He was still incredibly testy due to still not finding any time to train himself properly. Jiraiya tried to placate him by saying he had proven himself to be far stronger than a genin should be. Naruto countered by blankly stating that he wasn't supposed to be a genin, he was Anbu level at 8. Jiraiya didn't like Naruto fretting over his skill level like this, but then he remembered what he met Naruto doing, infiltrating an unknown country. When he saw Naruto again at the hot springs years later he was rather underwhelmed. After taking the Gajiao Fun off of Naruto and watching him immediately stand on water he wasn't surprised, he figured he subconsciously knew how to do it already. What had been done to him was a damn shame, and he had every right to be angry. Years of blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, not so much tears if he was trained by Danzo, but everything else, all of that was spent to give him his strength, and to have a considerable amount of it ripped away by the folly of a pair of old men? Jiraiya knew he would be in an uproar about it too if it were him. And he knew Naruto had all the reason to worry about it. He had just been attacked by 2 of the most infamous ninja actively listed in the bingo book and only sheer folly on their part and raw luck and hard-nosed skill from his got him out of it. His teammate had been injured in the fracas as well. Jiraiya looked at the boy who was practicing running through hand signs quickly. Hey kid, don't worry about your teammate, he'll be fine. Naruto stopped working on his hand signs and looked at Jiraiya. Oh, that. Meh, it'll be good for him. A little beating every once in a while builds character. Naruto shrugged when Jiraiya stared in shock at his nonchalant attitude. What? It's how I was trained. Getting your ass kicked makes you really want to avoid getting your ass kicked again, so you do what you can to improve. It's good for him. Well yeah, that does make sense. Jiraiya nodded in agreement to Naruto's logic. Alright then, let's go find Tsunade. Naruto almost stumbled. Tsunade? As in your old teammate, best damn medic ninja ever, gambles like shit, Tsunade. Jiraiya chuckled at his description of her. Yeah, that's the one kid. Though, I think you should refrain from using that last one in front of her unless you want to end up a smear on a wall. Jiraiya pulled out a picture of her and handed it to Naruto. We're to find her and bring her back to the village. Naruto put the picture in one of his pockets and kept up with making hand signs that looked like a blur. Jiraiya saw him resume his task. Hey kid, how about I give you that jutsu now? I guarantee you don't know it, and it could be useful to you. You can even train with it while walking like you are right now. Naruto thought for a moment. Sure, why not? It's not like I can go out of my way to handle any other kind of training while we're out here. Jiraiya grinned. Good choice kid. I promise you won't regret it. We'll start when I can get the necessary supplies. XXX. Naruto and Jiraiya came upon a town where a festival was taking place. Jiraiya suggested he take this time to relax and they would pick up with the search soon while he would go and get some information on where she was. Naruto agreed and ditched Jiraiya before the latter could try and mooch off of his money. Naruto spent a few hours going through the town, cheating in air, partaking in some games and winning some prizes, getting a bite to eat. He had to admit, he may have lost a step or two in battle, but he was having more fun now than he would have been having in net if he was still one of them. That was one thing he had inherited from his old self and learned to love since he broke the seal, the value of a good time. He eventually got worried about the white-haired pervert he had been taking company with and set out to find him. It didn't take long for him to hear his rather distinctive laugh booming from a nearby tavern. Naruto entered to find Jiraiya with alcoholic beverage in hand and pleasurable company on both sides, one of which was hanging off of him. Hey Naruto. Come over here and take a load off. Naruto shrugged and walked over, sitting down to the woman on Jiraiya's left, a brunette with hair going down her back. So Jiraiya-sama, who's the little cutie here with you? Naruto raised his eyebrow. Cutie? Yeah right. I can't get a girl in Konoha to even so much as look at me with anything less than a sneer when I speak to them. Naruto let out a bitter chuckle that was missed by everyone else. Jiraiya grinned. This is my student Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, say hello to Takako and Tsukina. Naruto waved and let out a small hello. Takako, the girl he had been sitting next to that wasn't on Jiraiya, leaned on him, wrapping her arms around his neck. Naruto figured she must have been around 5 years older than him. He's so cute, Jiraiya-sama. He heard the girl let out a gasp as she touched the scar on his face. How did you get something like this? You're so young. Naruto shrugged. Life is hard. It's just a scar. It's nothing important, just a reminder to duck next time. He was a good sport about it as he let her trace the mark over his eye. Naruto and Jiraiya stayed and talked with the women until a few hours after nightfall. Naruto had refrained from drinking the entire time, letting Jiraiya get his fill for now. He knew the man would pay for it in the morning. Naruto waited until Jiraiya was blackout drunk, which took way longer than Naruto figured it should have been. What the hell was his alcohol-to-blood ratio? Kami bid goodbye to the women they were with and proceeded to haul Jiraiya out of the bar towards an inn for the night. As he got a certain distance down the road, Jiraiya seemingly got a second wind and rose from Naruto's shoulders. Wow, you are strong, Gaki. That was quite a ways to haul dead weight like me. Naruto looked up at Jiraiya, who had seemingly shrugged off the effects of an entire day's worth of binge drinking. You should be laying face up choking on puke right now. How in the hell are you even standing straight? Jiraiya smirked at the boy as he continued looking for a place to stay. I'm no lightweight kid. Naruto deadpanned a look at him, saying that he didn't drink a lightweight's share, while Tsunade would have dropped hours ago. I'm just that good. I'm surprised you didn't drag me out or call me an old perv or something. Naruto sighed. I'm not adverse to enjoying myself. And those women were hot. Besides, you said we were relaxing today. Even a brainless ceiling asshole like you needs to rest, and that's obviously how you take the edge off, so why should I have interrupted you? Jiraiya chuckled. You sure are different these days, Gaki. I think Takako liked you. That damn scar is going to get you all sorts of pity sex when you get older. Naruto snorted. It's just because she doesn't know who I am. If we were in Konoha, I'd have been shoved to the back burner there, and you know it. Jiraiya made in response. Maybe you should get your head off of that pink-haired girl then? There are plenty of other women that won't try to give you brain damage. He expected him to start ranting about how he'd never betray Sakura-chan, or how she was just complicated or something. What Naruto said made him almost fall in the street. Huh, so true. Well, you were the one who did it. Jiraiya looked over at the calm expression on his face. What? Naruto looked at him with a cocked brow, hiding his slight glare. The first thing I thought of her when I had time to think about my team again was what the hell was my other self smoking to think she was any good for me? My dumbass, childish self was the one that was attracted to her, therefore it's your fault. However, I don't interact with any other girls, my age or otherwise, not before you sealed me and sure as hell not after. They all got used to the me that was terrible at everything. Naruto looked up at the moon. All the kunoichi my age all think I suck, or they can't stand me. All of the civilians fawn all over Uchiha team, or are too weak to be able to put up with my life, and the ones that don't, all hate me anyway. I think Danzo might have been onto something when he told me to get rid of my emotions, because knowing you will never get laid out of love kind of sucks. Arrow Senin. Naruto scratched his chin and thought. Jiraiya flinched as he noted how calmly he had just said that he would never find anyone to be with. No one should just accept that kind of thing as a fact of their life. Naruto left Jiraiya with one more thought for the night. That Takiko girl was pretty cute though. XXX. As they had woken up the next day and headed out on the road, Jiraiya tossed Naruto a water balloon. Naruto looked up at him blankly. What the hell is this? It's not that hot. Arrow Senin. You're a grown man? Jiraiya held out another in his own hand. The jutsu you're learning has 3 steps. The first one is to pop that balloon with just the rotation of your chakra. Naruto yawned. Well, does this mystery jutsu have a name, or will I have the pleasure of doing that? Jiraiya held out his other hand as a rapidly spinning blue ball of chakra formed in it. Naruto noticed the speed and the size of the jutsu compared to the massive amount of chakra rolling inside of it. Jiraiya smirked as he saw Naruto's eyes affixed to the ball. It's called Rasengan. It was one of the Yondaime Hokage's prized jutsu. Naruto nodded. Whoa. Jiraiya let the jutsu fade. Indeed. Now let's. He was cut off as the sound of water splashing rang out. He turned to see Naruto shaking his hand and picking pieces of rubber off of it. Jiraiya held out his balloon. Do that again. Naruto grabbed the balloon from his and popped it like clockwork. Jiraiya had to rub his eyes. What? How? Naruto shook more water off of his hands as he kept walking forward. I saw that the jutsu had chakra flowing in all directions. I just did that to the balloon and, pop. Jiraiya shook his head. A genin shouldn't have gotten something like that so quickly. A tick mark on Naruto's head appeared. Yeah, well, I'm not supposed to be a genin either. I'm supposed to be a Neanbu, remember? Noticing a detail like that is amateur hour stuff. Naruto looked at him expectantly. What's the next step? Jiraiya dumbly held out a rubber ball. Pop this with your chakra. It should be the most difficult step. It has to do with just power. Blam. Naruto's hand snapped to his ears as the rubber ball exploded in his hand. Damn it, why was that so loud? Jiraiya almost had a seizure out in the open road. How did you get it that time? Generating a consistent amount of power like that takes time. Naruto dug into his ear. And I have what sealed inside of me again? I've been dealing with powerful chakra since I was little. My own naturally got stronger. Danzo had me spamming high-level jutsu all over the place by the time I was 8. Jiraiya opened his mouth but nothing came out. I'll show you the final step later. I need to find something new to start you on. What about your elemental affinity? Wind, and I have several jutsu for that element. I just need to relearn the big ones again. Naruto walked along with a bored expression on his face. Where is Tsunade, damn it? Did you find out anything in that town we were in? Jiraiya ceased his thoughts on Naruto's training and answered, I did actually. She was heading up towards the edge of the country. She'll probably wind up in Tanzakugai, so that's where we're going. Naruto grunted. Tell me the third step so I'm not wasting time on the way. If I can't get my conditioning in, then I'll have to work with this jutsu until we get somewhere where I can actually work on it. Jiraiya sighed and blew up a balloon. The next step is to mix the first 2 steps in this balloon. Naruto looked at the balloon in Jiraiya's hand. So what am I doing? Jiraiya lifted his other hand and formed the Rasengan for Naruto to see. Naruto opened his mouth, forming an O in recognition. So I'm doing that, just inside the balloon instead, right? So I can get the spatial composition down. Jiraiya nodded. It took me 2 months just to get this far. It hasn't even been an hour yet for him. Kid, what were you like before you were sealed? Thinking about something like that terrifies me. Naruto attempted Jiraiya's instructions. Jiraiya actually breathed a sigh of relief when Naruto's balloon popped. If the kid got Rasengan in one day, then he would have had a fit. Naruto received the pack of balloons from Jiraiya and took out another to blow up. Well, it looks like this will keep me busy for a while. XXX. What happened here? Jiraiya and Naruto looked at what used to be the famous castle of Tanzakugai. It was nothing but rubble at this point. Jiraiya and Naruto walked over to the scene and looked around. While Naruto kicked at the rubble under his feet, Jiraiya noticed holes in the wall nearby, a sign of his wayward teammate. Jiraiya jerked Naruto by his arm to lead him away. "Come on kid, we're close, very close." After searching the town all day, they stopped at a tavern for a little meal before retiring for the night. Jiraiya stopped as he walked inside. Tsunade, a blonde woman with a jewel-looking mark on her forehead, looked up in shock. "Jiraiya? What are you doing here?" Jiraiya and Naruto walked over to her table where there was a black-haired woman holding a small pig. "Well, we just stopped here for a bite to eat. Imagine meeting you here of all places." Naruto took a seat alongside Jiraiya and looked out at the two women. "Tsunade, so this is the last of the Sannin. Looks like I've met the full set. Lucky me." Tsunade's eyes drifted over to him. "So who's the brat, Jiraiya?" Naruto's eye twitched. "Yep. Lucky, lucky, lucky." Jiraiya looked at Naruto, who was wearing an unreadable expression, minus the twitching. "This is Naruto Uzumaki, my new apprentice." Naruto's eyebrows shot up. "Apprentice? Since when?" Jiraiya smirked at the boy. "Since you signed the Toad contract before the invasion, kid. Congratulations." Naruto grumbled and placed his face on his hands. "Great. The guy that locked away my strength and skill wants to make amends and teach me how to fight again." Jiraiya looked confused. "Kid, don't you want me to do that?" Naruto slammed his palms on the table. "I'll tell you what I want. I want to go home so I can get my shit together and get strong again. I want to yell at you and beat you to a pulp. I want something or someone to cling to, because I think I'm starting to lose it with all of the shit running through my mind." Naruto was standing now. "But I can't have those things, not for a bunch of reasons. I can work on one of those things now though." Naruto pointed at Tsunade. We're going back to Konoha. Time to go home." Tsunade was stunned silent by the sheer fact that some kid just ordered her to do something of that magnitude, and he didn't even blink. Jiraiya palmed his forehead. "Smooth kid. Really subtle stuff there." Naruto glared at Jiraiya. "You can shut up too. I'm still pissed at you, damn it." Jiraiya groaned. "When won't you be pissed at me?" Naruto smirked. "When I can do everything I used to be able to do and then some." Naruto looked back at Tsunade. "So let's go. Come on." Tsunade flipped the table over angrily. "Who the hell do you think you are, runt? Where do you think you can get off telling me to go back to that place?" Naruto didn't bat an eye. "I think I'm the unfortunate bastard tasked with dragging your sorry alcoholic ass home, and I don't fail missions." Naruto kicked his chair backwards. "You can come with us, or I can beat your ass and drag you back myself." Tsunade pointed to the door and stomped outside. Naruto followed briskly. Jiraiya groaned as he stood to leave as well. "Come on Shizune. Someone needs to sweep that kid's remains off the street after Tsunade is done with him." XXX. Naruto stood across from Tsunade in the middle of the street. He looked around. "You know this really isn't the place for something like this, unless you like paying for property damage. But don't you have enough debts? Shut up and get ready to face the music, you brat." Tsunade lifted her index finger. "One finger. That's all I need for a runt like you." Naruto smirked. "I thought I was rusty after 4 years. Well, when was the last time she was even in a fight? Sometimes life cracks a window for you. Well, she just opened the goddamn front door for me." Jiraiya and Shizune walked out. Tsunade let it go. "We can talk about this." Tsunade glared over at Jiraiya. "Shut up, Jiraiya. He has this coming. Brats like this need to know their place." Naruto glared over at Jiraiya also. "Yeah, shut up, Ero Sennin. Old ladies like this need to learn how to deal with their problems before they turn old and gray instead of just running away." Tsunade growled at Naruto. "Give me your best shot, brat. You won't get another one." Naruto's eyes went cold as his face went blank. "If I do this right, then one shot is all I'll really need." His eyes narrowed. "You'd better hope I miss." A slight shiver went down Jiraiya's spine as he saw the look in Naruto's eyes. Tsunade? You might want to use more than." Tsunade snapped at him again. "I said shut up, Jiraiya." Naruto kept his stone-cold eyes leveled on her. "Looks like the crabby old lady needs an attitude adjustment, yelling at her old friends like that." Tsunade had enough of Naruto's mouth and charged at him. Naruto's body tensed as he counted the steps until she was in range. "Shouldn't the Sannin be faster than this? I guess she really is rusty." Tsunade attempted a backhand swipe but Naruto swatted it away, leaving her guard wide open. Tsunade was shocked as Naruto moved far faster than she expected a kid his age to be able to, ending up with him sinking a fist into her ribs. Jiraiya had to let a small smile come on his face as he saw Shizune's jaw drop. Shizune's grip on the pet pig, Tauntaun, almost squashed the poor thing as he saw a child get the first shot on Tsunade in a fight. Jiraiya-sama, how can that genin land a blow like that on Tsunade-sama? He hit first. Jiraiya shook his head. Just because he's a genin doesn't mean he has to fight like a genin, does it? Tsunade ran green glowing hands over her torso and glared at Naruto, who had simply reset himself in his stance. So you can move with some quickness? You're still a brat. I still only need one finger. She won't even acknowledge when someone is a threat. This is going to work out better than the fight with Itachi. Naruto formed the cross seal and formed several kage bunshin. You got disoriented by just one of me. How are you going to handle 8? Scatter. Naruto's clones blurred around the street, looking more like an angry hive of bees rather than a group of boys. Tsunade's eyes kept themselves on all possible threats. She ended up blocking a few preemptive strikes with just one finger, for her boast, and kept looking for a prime target to hit. The sounds of something swirling made Tsunade turn her head to see Naruto forming a blue ball that Tsunade could label from a mile away. Realizing just how damaging that move could be, she chopped at the ground with her finger, disrupting his footing and forcing him to break the attack and fall down. Tsunade looked over at Jiraiya. Jiraiya, what were you thinking? Teaching a kid like this that kind of jutsu? Jiraiya wasn't even looking at her. He was looking in another direction with a grin on his face. Hey Naruto. Don't embarrass her badly, kid. She's supposed to be our next Hokage. Naruto strode out of the darkness of a nearby alley holding something in his hands. He had a dumbstruck look on his face. Really? Her? Are you sure? Because for all intents and purposes I just killed her. Tsunade watched as the Naruto in front of her burst into smoke and was about to ask what he meant. All of a sudden she felt a draft around her chest and looked down to see her gray kimono blouse open and fluttering in the breeze. Shizune looked mortified at the sight of her master's busty glory out for all the world to see. She was thankful solely for the fact that the street was clear. Naruto smirked in a mean-spirited fashion as he slung her obi around like a robe. I think you're missing something there. His eyes widened as he actually got a decent look at her. Whoa, good on you though. Bravo. Jiraiya ran up to Naruto and shook his hand with stars in his eyes. Kid, that was amazing. You're my hero. Jiraiya dropped to the ground and bowed down. I'm not worthy to train you, kid. You should be training me. Tsunade's senses came back online as she proverbially saw red and rushed over to Naruto, hitting him dead on and sending him flying into the front wall of a nearby building, utterly turning it to rubble. Jiraiya and Shizune ran over to where he had landed as Tsunade held her clothing shut with her hands. Amazingly, they found him still conscious, but not in any condition to get back up. As Shizune started running a diagnostic jutsu on him, he coughed up some blood. Cough, I win. Tsunade stormed over and ripped her obi from his grasp, reapplying it. What do you mean? Look at you, brat. You're a mess. Naruto grinned, showing her bloody teeth in his smile. You still used more than one finger to beat me. You lose. Naruto shakily picked himself up off of the ground, shocking all who witnessed it. Now playtime is over. Time to go back to Konoha already. Tsunade sneered at him. Why would I? Why should I? I already said I'm not going. That place has taken too much from me. It isn't getting my life too. She turned to leave. Shizune. Come on. The brat is fine, we're leaving. Jiraiya stood in front of her path to leave. Tsunade. Like I said, the elders have chosen you as our next Hokage. Now that we've caught you, we're not just going to let you vanish again. We'll stay on you until you decide to come along. Tsunade scoffed and turned away, looking out at the road. She saw the marking from the attempted Rasengan and looked back with a devious smirk. Alright, since you won't just leave, how about we have a little wager? She walked over to the injured Naruto. That move you tried to use on me back there. You know it was once used by the Yondaime Hokage. If you can master that move in 1 week, then I'll give you the necklace I'm wearing and I'll return with you to Konoha. If you fail, then you'll give me all of your money and give up the mission. Naruto looked at the necklace and back up at her. Deal. 1 week. I'll learn how to perform the Rasengan in 1 week or we'll go home without you. Tsunade had a victorious look on her face and turned to leave, Shizune in tow. Naruto got Jiraiya to help him walk down the street as they went to get their own hotel room. Are you going to be alright, Gaki? Naruto's teeth were gritted as he tried his hardest to stay upright with Jiraiya's assistance. Yeah. I just need to sleep it off for the time being. I'll be fine in the morning. I'm okay. Jiraiya rolled his eyes as they hobbled down the street. You know I kind of wasn't kidding back there, kid. You're my hero today. That sight you gave me, absolutely glorious. I've wanted to see that again for over 15 years and I finally have. The best part, I didn't even get beaten up for it this time. Jiraiya finished with a lecherous grin on his face. Naruto sweet dropped. That's great, Arrow Sennin. Glad I could help, I guess. XXX. The next day Naruto was awakened from his deep slumber by a knock at his door. Lumbering over to the door, he opened it to find Shizune. Shizune-san? What is it? She came inside and looked him over, noting the fact that he was shirtless and had scars littering his body. Are you sure you're okay from last night? Tsunade-sama has liquidated men using less force than she used on you. Naruto sat on his bed and stretched. I'm fine, I've had worse. So what do you need? I need to go train for this bet already. Shizune rubbed her arm awkwardly. That's what I want to talk to you about. I don't want you to think of Tsunade-sama as a bad person, she's just bitter. Naruto nodded, because her brother and lover were killed during wartime. I know. Shizune's eyes widened in shock. How do you know that? Naruto shrugged. The guy that trained me made me learn all kinds of stuff about Konoha's famous ninja. Shizune looked at him strangely. The academy in Konoha sure goes over some classified things these days. Naruto chuckled darkly. No, they don't. I didn't learn that in the academy. I learned things of that nature elsewhere. Shizune recovered admirably. Well, if you know that, then you must know that that necklace is cursed. It will kill anyone who wears it other than Tsunade-sama. Naruto stood up and walked towards the door. Well then, I guess I'm next. Because I'm winning this little bet of ours, so tell her to get all of her affairs in order and get ready to go back to Konoha. I'll see you later, Shizune-san. Naruto left Shizune sitting in the room as he left the hotel entirely. Naruto made his way to the outskirts of the town where he found Jiraiya sitting against a tree waiting for him. He had a smirk on his face. Kid, you must have the biggest set on you. You made a bet like that with Tsunade. Naruto smirked at him. Well, I have a week to train my body back up to normal. It won't be even a drop in the bucket to what I need, but free time is free time. Jiraiya looked at him strangely. Kid, you need to work on the Rasengan and win this bet. You can wait to do everything else right now, finish the jutsu and then do everything else. Naruto looked at him mischievously. Oh, you mean this Rasengan? Naruto formed the perfect blue ball in his hand and pushed it against the tree Jiraiya was sitting against, forcing it to explode in a shower of bark and wood chips. Jiraiya looked at him stunned. You finished it. Naruto grinned widely. Deception is just another tool of the game. When I fought her last night, I used it as a distraction. I just needed to get her attention so my clone didn't really focus on the attack. I can do the Rasengan, but showing her that I could last night would have done no good. She would have just made another impossible bet that I would have had to actually work at. Jiraiya was still confused. Well, why didn't you just show her last night? Naruto gave him a dry look. Arrow-sen and I was seeing sextuple last night. She gave me a concussion. I still feel my head pounding even today. There was no way I could focus to show her the finished product last night after the bet was made. Naruto stretched out as he prepared to work. I'll just milk this for the week of training I can get in and show her on the last day. I don't have to tell you to watch her, you know she's a flight risk. Jiraiya looked at Naruto seriously. Yeah. There's a good chance Orochimaru is here as well. Naruto stopped stretching to look up at Jiraiya. Really? Well then, that's all the more reason for me to get to work now, isn't it? Jiraiya turned to head back to town with a grin on his face. Damn, brat is going to be stronger than all of us one of these days. XXX. Over the course of the next week, Naruto threw himself into training as hard as he could. Regaining intense control of his chakra was his primary concern. He trained in this facet by way of mass kune balancing. He attempted to reacquaint himself with the movements of swordplay once more, but until he could get in some decent sparring, there was only so much he could remember. He still needed weights to get his speed up, and he figured his strength was all right for now. Not being able to activate his true levels for years did a number on his muscles. Contrary to popular belief, gravity seals aren't really a form of training. The seal weighs you down by connecting to your chakra and manipulating how much you would be able to pump to your muscles, decreasing the greatest amounts that you attempt to generate. Depending on the nature of the seal, it could seal away any percentage of your maximum. The difficulty and obscurity of the seal gave rise to the rumors of it being used as a training method. Jiraiya had been using the seal in combat for decades since he had discovered its uses. When Jiraiya came across a powerful or dangerous ninja that he didn't necessarily want to kill, he would sometimes place the seal on them to make sure they couldn't challenge him again. Most of them, however, never realized this and went the rest of their careers lagging in their physical skills unknowingly until they were later killed in battle. Naruto had to sigh in relief when he realized that Jiraiya had placed something like that on him. Who knows what may have happened if he had kept it on. With dangerous ninja after me and me lacking the ability to get faster or stronger, I would have been a dead man. At least he still had enough speed to deem manageable against most opponents for now anyway. He found that he was as fast as Rock Lee with his ways off. Naruto chuckled when he thought of the boy. Now that would be a hell of a spar. He then realized that Lee had been crippled by Gaara during the exams, and that stoked his resolve further that Tsunade wasn't going to get out of this bet with him. If anyone can help Lee get better, it's her. Just another reason to drag her back, kicking and screaming if I have to. Naruto rubbed his hands together as he felt a familiar presence at the edge of the woods. Okay, kill two birds with one stone. Train this jutsu of mine and rattle her with my training. Serves her right for trying to spy. Naruto made a mass of hand signs and drew his hands apart as wind whipped around them. He turned to a boulder and thrusted out his fists pushed together at the thumb and index finger. Fuuten, Fuujin Seiken, wind release, divine fist of the wind god. A fierce wind pushed from his fists and impacted hard against the boulder, leaving the imprint of his two fists the size of his entire body. Naruto smirked as he felt Tsunade leave the area of her hiding. All right. Finally, one down, 8 more to go. I'm getting all of my jutsu back. Just wait till I bust out the big ones. Jutsu list. Fuuten, Fuujin Seiken, wind release, divine fist of the wind god, B-rank ninjutsu. Mid to close range. Forces the user to direct wind chakra around their hands in the blunt shape of their fist and thrust it out at their target. The impact is equal to the amount of chakra pumped into the attack, however the control must be adequate in order to use the jutsu at such a high level. Violent backlash can occur if the control over the amount of chakra is not satisfactory. Theoretically, the attack can be used to crush an opponent into paste against a solid surface, or can throw an enemy an unmeasurable distance with blunt force trauma. Chapter 4, Reality Check. Naruto awoke with a groan. Ugh. Okay, I guess I still can't use all of my jutsu yet. The previous night Naruto had exhausted himself trying one of his more upper-tier ninjutsu. Waking up in his own bed, he realized that Tsunade must have been spying on him again. Naruto chuckled. Haha, I wonder if she saw that one. Naruto jumped out of bed and tripped over a black bundle at the foot of his bed. As it groaned, he realized who it was. Shizune-san? What are you doing here? Shizune's hazy eyes opened and widened as she jumped up, surprising the blonde. Tsunade-sama. Where is she? Naruto grabbed Shizune to calm her down. Hold on a second, just wait. You're saying she did this to you? Shizune stopped stirring and rested in his arms, though he felt her breathing was still frantic. Naruto sighed and let her go. Shizune immediately made for the window. We have to find Tsunade-sama. It might be too late to stop her. As Shizune left through the window, a kune buried itself to the right of her head into a wall. They both turned to see Jiraiya standing on the ledge uneasily. Where's Tsunade? His voice held a threatening tone as he slinked along the wall up to Naruto and Shizune. Naruto took note of Jiraiya's condition. G0 Senin, what the hell happened to you? Jiraiya sat on the ledge and experimentally flexed his arms. Tsunade drugged me last night. I should have known better. She wasn't as pissy as she usually was when she drank with me. Naruto's attention was drawn up at an adjacent rooftop. But when he peered up, he saw nothing. Shizune had gone to fetch Jiraiya an antidote to whatever Jiraiya had ailing him. She ran back and handed Jiraiya a glass of water and some crushed up pills. Sorry Jiraiya-sama, there isn't an antidote to the poison. This should even you out though. Jiraiya took the pills and swallowed them with the water. Thank you Shizune. When Naruto's attention returned to the roof, he could no longer sense anyone's presence. Naruto looked at Shizune. It's Orochimaru, isn't it? Shizune looked surprised. Naruto looked over to Jiraiya. How you feeling, Ero Senin? Jiraiya crushed the glass in his hands. It's not much. My chakra is still fluctuating, but it'll have to do. Shizune looked down sadly. Orochimaru came to us last week with an offer. Restore his arms and he'll return Tsunade-sama's most precious people to her from the dead. She looked at Jiraiya hopefully. Today is the day they meet. We might still be able to keep her from doing it. Jiraiya stood. So how are we going to find her? Shizune grabbed Tonton and jumped to the ground before placing the small pig onto the ground. We need your help, Tonton. Can you find Tsunade-sama for us? The pig oinked as it sniffed at the ground. Jiraiya and Naruto dropped down around them just as Tonton began oinking wildly at Shizune. Shizune turned to the other two with her. Tonton has her scent. Come on, it's this way. XXX. They returned to the area of the ruined castle and found even more signs of destruction, though they were newer. Naruto smiled at the side of the pulverized wall. It looks like the old bat turned him down. Jiraiya nodded. Yeah, that might not be so good for her though. Come on. We still have to find her. As they ran into a field they found Tsunade being beaten by Kabuto. Shizune shouted for her mistress as she ran over to her side. Tsunade-sama. Naruto and Jiraiya waited close by as Shizune took out a handkerchief and wiped blood from Tsunade's face. Naruto looked at the scene in confusion. Ero Sennin, what's going on here? Is it a genjutsu or something? Jiraiya shook his head in the negative. Tsunade has hemophobia. She's afraid of blood, kid. Even the sight of it messes her up and makes her like that. Right now she's utterly useless. Naruto looked out at Orochimaru, whose arms were wrapped up, but Naruto could see faint traces of blood coming through. Next to him was Kabuto, who was wearing a headband with a musical note on it. Naruto's eyes narrowed at the sight. Kabuto Yakashi, I can't say it's good to see you again. At least I know my information was right. I just wish I could have gotten your ass before the invasion, damn seal. Jiraiya looked down at the now fuming blonde. Kami kid, I said I was sorry. Hindsight is 20/20, they always say. Orochimaru chuckled as he saw the arrival of his third teammate, Jiraiya, and Naruto-kun too. What a warm reunion this is. Though I do wonder what you are doing here. Jiraiya held his arm out in front of Naruto, keeping him from beginning to engage the enemy. Protect Tsunade Gaki. Orochimaru is too much for you, and that Kabuto kid is out of your league also. It would take an Anbu. Jiraiya trailed off as he looked down at Naruto, who was giving him a deadpan look, trying to be funny old man. Jiraiya sighed and waved. Fine. Shizune can watch over Tsunade, I guess. Go ahead and fight Specs over there. I'll handle Orochimaru. Orochimaru heard this and chuckled. You'll handle me, Jiraiya? You were always the weakest of the Sannin. Even handicapped you can't beat me. And sending your little blonde against Kabuto here, you must not like him too much. Jiraiya looked back at Shizune. Can you keep an eye on Tsunade? Me and the Gaki will handle the snake and his flunky. Shizune nodded and returned to trying to calm Tsunade down. You ready, brat? Jiraiya looked over at Naruto, who smiled up at him angrily. This one's for Sarutobi-sensei. Naruto snorted. You can make it for the old man if you want. This one's for the Hibidush sicking those 5 souped-up cursed seal assholes on me when he chased me out of Auto. That son of a bitch with the bones wasn't a joke. I've still got a gripe with him. Kabuto now. Kabuto pulled the bandages off of one of Orochimaru's arms and ran his own blood down the summoning tattoo on it. Kachiyo's no jutsu, summoning jutsu. Kabuto and Orochimaru then stood atop 3 rampaging snakes, heading towards Naruto and Jiraiya. Jiraiya went to summon himself, and in a small puff of smoke Gamakichi was revealed. Oh, hey. Good to see you again. Naruto's sweat dropped. Seriously? I could do better than that. Come on, this is serious. Gaki. Room. Naruto moved back as Jiraiya made a set of hand signs and slammed his hands on the ground. Daten, Yomi Numa, Earth Release, Swamp of the Underworld. The ground in front of him turned into a dark murky substance, trapping the snakes within, disabling their movement. Jiraiya audibly cursed. Damn it. It isn't very deep at all. I must still be under the effects of Tsunade's drug. Naruto shook his head. Man, Ero Sennin, you sure do suck today. Come on, we don't need any help right now anyway. Naruto turned to Gamakichi. Go over to the lady in black and the blonde woman and stay put. This won't be a nice battle. Gamakichi hopped off as the battle stalemated. Jiraiya and Naruto both launched out at their chosen opponents, who broke off to confront them separately. Jiraiya began assaulting Orochimaru, who was noticeably unable to attack using his arms, instead lashing out with kicks and slipping away from Jiraiya's assault. Jiraiya decided to tease his former teammate. Man, it must be hard to use jutsu with no arms, That must suck for a guy like you, Orochimaru. Orochimaru gave a superior smirk. I don't even need my arms to destroy you, Jiraiya. I saw your weak jutsu, you're just as bad as me. Jiraiya barked out a laugh. I guess that's true as well. I guess we're just going to have to wait for our retainers to finish off their little speck of business before we can really get to the main event. Orochimaru laughed slowly. The Kyuubi child, Jiraiya? I've seen what he can do. Against Kabuto he has no chance. The boy has absolutely no skill as a shinobi. Jiraiya gave a big grin. And that would be my fault. But don't worry, Rochi, I fixed him up before we even got to this town. I'm letting him fight Kabuto down there because I know he'll win. Consider this his coming out party, so to speak. Orochimaru looked befuddled. I fought him, Jiraiya. Even going as hard as he could, Kyuubi's chakra and all, he didn't come close to impressing me. Now the Uchiha, what strength. A true genius. Jiraiya broke down in laughter. I guess the standards for a genius are seriously declining these days. If just being a genin at the regular age makes you a genius, then I don't know what the hell to call Naruto. Orochimaru gave a cruel grin. How about failure? Loser? Cannon fodder? Frontline trash? Take your pick or make a few more of your own. Jiraiya had a placid smile on his face as he just stared at Orochimaru. Ah, that's a good one. Orochimaru contorted his face in confusion. What is? What are you talking about? Jiraiya gave him a hard look. That face of yours just now. I want to remember it for later. Just so I can compare it to the look on your face after you see what the Gaki can really do. XXX. Naruto faced off with Kabuto a distance away from where Orochimaru and Jiraiya were currently in conflict. Kabuto crossed his arms, a decided superior smirk on his face. You might want to leave this place before things get messy. You're a little out of your element here. Orochimaru-sama, myself, Jiraiya, Tsunade, even the woman with Tsunade. All of us are high-level shinobi. I myself am on par with Kakashi Hatake. And you're just a cute little genin that's out of his place. Naruto started chuckling, but then chuckling gave way to full-blown laughter. Haha, man, I'm glad I didn't end up broken like everybody else in that, because hearing that little threatening rundown was too much. You? Comparable to Kakashi Hatake? I'll believe it when I feel it. Naruto pointed back in Tsunade's general direction. I already beat Tsunade the other day. I could have killed her if I wanted to. Knowing she's got hemophobia would have easier than it was. He pointed in the direction of the trapped snakes. Orochimaru is crippled. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch for me to beat him too, especially if he's underestimating me like you. Kabuto laughed loudly. To be naive genin, believing that you can fight and defeat anyone. Naruto scratched his head. How to get you to understand? Okay, you obviously remember 4 years ago when one of Itagakure's bases got sacked and Orochimaru sent out his elite bodyguards to handle the intrusion. Kabuto nodded. Those fools were punished for allowing the intruder to escape. A spy like that could have been detrimental to our efforts. They haven't failed since. Kabuto's eyes snapped open wide. Wait? Are you really saying? There's no way. You would have had to have been 8 years old. Naruto grinned widely. Ding 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 ding. Got it in one Kabu team. It was me. I'd have gotten away clean too if it wasn't for Ero Sennin's love for dramatic bullshit. Who blows up the information depot during a reconnaissance mission? Honestly, how is that stealth? Kabuto pointed at him accusingly. No way. From what I've seen and from the information on you, you're nothing. A low-level genin. Naruto chuckled. Well, that's what the Konoha records had on one Kabuto Yakashi also, if you'll recall. We all know how that turned out, right, Mr. Spy? If you were capable of it, then why wouldn't I be? I didn't even have to join any ranks and keep suspicion off like you did. All I had to do was not get caught. Naruto tapped his finger on his head. I had the plans for your invasion all up here way back then. Every move you had planned out over the long term was all up here. All of your bases, the info that was listed on your cursed seal, the true nature of Orochimaru's immortality jutsu, it's all here. The only reason your invasion had even half of a chance of even getting off of the ground was because of some unfortunate business that ended with me getting my memory and ability sealed off before I could tell the necessary people. Kabuto tilted his glasses and scoffed. Well then, Naruto-kun, please show me these skills of yours that allowed you to breach our defenses. I'm in need of a new form of entertainment after all. Naruto nodded sagely. Ah, I see. I guess it would get boring being Orochimaru's ass muppet after a while. Playing hide-the-trouser snake would get dull even for a flaming fruit like you, I assume. Kabuto gritted his teeth in anger. Do not slander Orochimaru-sama like that. What could you possibly know about his power? Naruto grinned. Hey, being a pedophilic creep doesn't mean he's weak, and from the way you're defending him it sounds like a fucking lie to me, boy. And don't think I didn't notice how you refrained from defending yourself either. Kabuto rushed in at Naruto, who set himself in a defensive stance. Kabuto's hands glowed blue as he neared closer. Naruto dodged his first attacks and kicked him back to get some distance between them. Chakra scalpels, I see. You're medic ninja? Letting you in close wouldn't be too favorable as long as you're using that. Kabuto chuckled. Try to keep me away then, Naruto-kun. Kabuto rushed back in and engaged Naruto close up once more. Naruto ducked out of the way of Kabuto's attack, choosing to slip under and around his punches rather than block, lest his muscle tendons and other internal things in his arms be cut. He also had to watch it when he threw a punch or kick of his own to make sure that Kabuto didn't cut anything by simply blocking or parrying his moves. Naruto dodged even more of Kabuto's potentially fatal strikes, grunting in effort, "You're really annoying to fight. You're really fast, even for a medic nin." Kabuto's confident smirk returned, "Like I said, Naruto-kun, you're all talk. You're not on my level." Kabuto overextended on one of his attacks and allowed Naruto to spring out of close range. Naruto immediately began tossing out Kunai at Kabuto, who dodged deftly and chuckled, "Simple Kunai, Naruto-kun? That honestly can't be your best." Naruto rolled his eyes, "There you go again, with that superiority thing of yours. Why are bad guys such douchebags?" Naruto rolled through a series of hand signs: Raiden, Denkai, Lightning Release, Electric Field. Kabuto sat in place as he felt and saw nothing. Naruto simply stood in place, staring at Kabuto with cold blue eyes that seemed to analyze his every movement. Kabuto simply strolled forward, "You must not have that jutsu down quite yet, Naruto-kun. Don't worry, I mean you are still just a genin after all." Naruto's eyes showed no indication that he had even acknowledged Kabuto's words. Kabuto shrugged and strolled forward, reactivating his chakra scalpels once more, until a sharp jolt of electricity thrusted him backwards. "What is this? Didn't you hear me call out the jutsu?" Naruto kept his gaze on Kabuto, only this time he had a smirk on his face. "You didn't really think that I was that bad at using Kunai, did you?" Kabuto turned to see a small spark of electricity coming from one of the Kunai. He then noticed that the weapons Naruto had thrown were strewn about in a rough circle around him. "A barrier jutsu? I really have been underestimating you." Naruto made more hand signs, "I'm not done yet. From here I can branch off into tons of stuff, just watch. Raiden, Denki Mihimu, Lightning Release, Electric Mayhem." Kabuto heard multiple snaps of electricity going off around him before a burning jolt hit his body. As he caught his breath from the sudden zap, he could actually see random pulses of lightning rushing from Kunai to Kunai. Another shot hit him and dropped him to the ground while he was analyzing the jutsu. Kabuto was breathing raggedly as he turned his head towards Naruto, whose hands were held out at the field surrounding Kabuto. "Do you like it? This jutsu lets me just trap and torment you in there until you black out or just die. The more chakra I pump into it, the more frequent the bursts of electricity will come. The only thing is that I can't control the lightning coursing through the field, but it still has a great chance of hitting you, as you've felt." Naruto channeled more chakra into his attack, forcing the snapping sounds of electricity to sound off more frequently. Kabuto shakily rose to his feet once more but was quickly struck back down. Before he could even try to rise again, he was hit one more time. Kabuto growled to himself and sunk into the ground before another bolt could hit him. Naruto simply stood in a position to move quickly and jumped aside as Kabuto's hands emerged from the ground to grab at his legs. Naruto landed and formed 3 cage bunshin who swarmed around Kabuto, launching attacks up close. Kabuto had somehow recovered enough from being electrocuted to fend off and dispel the bunshin without too much trouble. Kabuto looked at Naruto, who was once more giving him a cold stare. "That was a pretty effective jutsu, Naruto-kun. If I couldn't dig my way out, I don't know how I would have escaped it." Kabuto's hands glowed green as he ran them over his torso to heal himself. "You're quite a troublesome opponent." Naruto tapped his foot impatiently while Kabuto healed. "Well, while you're doing that," Naruto made more hand signs and thrusted his fists out at Kabuto. "Fuuten, Fuujin Seiken, Wind Release, Divine Fist of the Wind God." A visible ripple of air flew at Kabuto and hit him like a high-speed cart, sending him flying back, rolling head over heels bonelessly until he came to a stop. Naruto smirked as he saw Kabuto cease his backwards movement. "You still alive over there?" Kabuto stood up once more with blood trailing down his chin. "That was a solid hit there, Naruto-kun. I was right, you are a troublesome opponent." Naruto scoffed at Kabuto's pseudo-praise. "Oh really? I thought I was just a genin that was out of his element. If all it took to get your praise was an ass-kicking, then when I go back to Konoha I guess I'll have to start dealing them out en masse." XXX. Shizune had cleaned the blood from Tsunade's face quickly but found that she was still lacking response. She had taken to watching Naruto fight Kabuto, seeing as how Jiraiya and Orochimaru were too far away to find, and that she didn't know whether or not Naruto would require her backup. Much to her surprise and delight, however, Naruto was capable of handling Kabuto handily. Were it not for the fact that Kabuto was a medic ninja, she was sure that the accumulated damage of Naruto's attacks would have beaten him. Tsunade's eyes had been affixed straight ahead ever since Kabuto had splattered her with blood, so she actually had been watching Naruto fight Kabuto the entire time. Watching him fight off the silver-haired medic, she realized that she had been extremely wrong in her first impressions of him. He shot his mouth off when they first met, not because he was too confident in his own abilities, but because he found her pathetic. He truly did. Someone with such a famous name, such a famous lineage, and such talent and legend known around the elemental nations was so bitter and disenfranchised. So much so that she let her skills fade enough for someone like himself to get the better of her. That shouldn't have happened, no matter how dangerous he was. When she had seen him train for the entire week, she had been amazed. His attempt to use a range of high-level techniques was something she had never seen from a boy so young. After he was done with one, he would move right on to the next one. If he couldn't get one to work, he would attempt it until he could force it or until he dropped out of exhaustion. The spark she could see in his blue eyes while he trained was the antithesis of what could be found in them in battle. In training he would laugh, chuckle, crack jokes at himself and show his spirit and emotion. In battle he kept things bottled, only choosing to take snide verbal shots at his opponents to get the upper hand. She had to rub her eyes a few times as she watched him train, because his actions in training reminded her so much of her deceased younger brother Naoki. Gamakichi hopped on her shoulder and looked out at the fight excitedly. Man, my bro is kicking ass out there. She unconsciously clenched her fist around her necklace as the battle carried on. Maybe, just one more time, she could believe in someone. XXX. Kabuto pulled out a hook kunai. As enlightening as our little skirmish has been, Naruto-kun, it's time I put an end to this. Orochimaru-sama is a busy man, we all have work to do. Naruto nodded and pointed back at Tsunade. Yep, I agree. Right now I have to go drag Baa-chan back to Konoha. But I also have a bet to win. Luckily for me, you're going to help me with that. Naruto snapped his fingers as two pairs of arms shot up from the ground and grabbed Kabuto's legs and arms, holding him in place. Kabuto tried to shake them off, but the grip was iron. What? What is this? A familiar voice sounded off from behind where he was grabbed. He turned slightly to face the cold eyes of the boy that was also facing off against him across the field. You didn't think you were the only one who could use Daten, Maguragakure no Jutsu, Earth Release, Hidden Mole Jutsu, did you? Kabuto looked ahead of him to see Naruto smirking. Now I've got this new jutsu I was taught, but I never got to use it on any real people before. I think you'll make the perfect guinea pig for me, don't you think? With your healing abilities you should be fine, maybe. It's not like I really care anyway. Naruto charged up chakra into his hand. Kabuto's eyes widened and his struggling increased as he realized just what it was as a blue spinning orb took shape in Naruto's grasp. Naruto strode towards him slowly, the stride turned into a jog and the jog into a sprint as he rushed at Kabuto. He thrusted the attack out and into the exposed body of Kabuto, Rasengan. Naruto ignored the blood flying as the attack tore into Kabuto's body and sent him flying off into a nearby boulder. Naruto turned towards Tsunade and walked with a purpose over to her and Shizune. When he got close, a goofy grin appeared on his face. I do believe you owe me that necklace of yours, Baa-chan. XXX. Orochimaru's jaw dropped low as he had just seen Naruto handily dispatch his right-hand man. A clicking sound brought him back into awareness as he saw Jiraiya holding a camera. Ah, that's a good one. Orochimaru gritted his teeth. Such power. He's too dangerous to leave alive. I have to kill him here before he gets too strong. Orochimaru flew off of the snakes at Naruto. Jiraiya tried stopping him but was tossed aside. Tsunade's drug had yet to wear off. As he launched himself at Naruto, his sword, Kusanagi, emerged from his mouth. Naruto's back was turned to the murderous Sannin as he closed in, sword out and about. As he was talking to Tsunade, his senses went off and he drew his sword, turning around in the nick of time just to block Orochimaru's strike. Naruto's eyes widened as he realized just who he was crossing blades with. Orochimaru team, nice to see you again. He noticed the arms of Orochimaru. The old man really did a number on you back in Konoha, didn't he? Orochimaru hissed at the boy as he pushed against him. Just die, boy. You'll ruin my plans for the future. He pulled back and began slashing at Naruto, who held up his defenses, slowly backing up due to his surprising strength. Naruto tried to strike back but Orochimaru showed traits reminiscent of his summons as he dodged Naruto's attacks. Naruto had to take great care as he slipped around Orochimaru's strikes. Even a scratch from the legendary weapon could poison him, a tactic that Naruto had to somewhat respect, a good way to ensure victory for sure. And Orochimaru knew how to use it, even from his mouth. As the clang of steel on steel went on, Orochimaru landed a kick to his body, sending him flying back next to Tsunade. Naruto gave her a reassuring grin. Don't worry Baa-chan. I'll get rid of this guy and then I'll be dragging you back to Konoha, just sit tight. Tsunade gasped at the sight of the blonde's grinning face. He looks just like Naoki. She took notice of Orochimaru hovering over him. Orochimaru thrusted downwards with his sword. Naruto barely blocked the point of the sword with the flat of his own. Naruto struggled against Orochimaru as the murderous intent in Orochimaru's eyes blazed. Suddenly a fist was implanted into Orochimaru's face, sending him flying a few feet back. Naruto blinked as he was pulled to his feet by the woman who was just on the ground watching him. Baa-chan. Tsunade was staring out intently at Orochimaru. Are you okay, brat? Naruto nodded dumbly. Yeah Baa-chan, I'm just fine. She smirked at him in response. Good, because I owe you a serious beatdown for all of this Baa-chan crap you're spouting. Realization then covered her face. Oh yeah. She took off her necklace and placed it on Naruto. You win, kid. You've beaten me fair and square and I'm an honest woman. Orochimaru stood up and cracked his jaw back into place as he glared out at Tsunade. Tsunade, what do you think you're doing? Why would you put your life at risk just to assist a brat like that? Tsunade cracked her knuckles. I would risk my life because I am Tsunade Senju, granddaughter of the Shode Hokage, grandniece of the Niddame Hokage, and as of today I am the Godame Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato. Naruto and Shizune appeared at her side. You tell him Baa-chan. Now let's kick his ass and go home already. Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto landed by his side and drew more blood down. Orochimaru summoned Tattoo to call upon another summon. Naruto blanched as he saw Kabuto still moving. What? I ripped him apart. He should be dead. Naruto. Naruto rushed off to Jiraiya's side to summon for him. Bring out Gamabunta. Naruto nodded and summoned for him and Jiraiya. Tsunade followed suit and summoned her own boss creature. As three massive puffs of smoke went up across the landscape, the smoke cleared to reveal a massive snake, slug, and toad, all looking at one another. Gamabunta let out a puff of smoke from his pipe. Well, if it isn't Manda and Katsuayu. How long's it been since I've seen you two? Jiraiya looked down from where he and Naruto were standing on his head. Bunta, we need your help for this one. So are you in? Gamabunta let out another puff from his pipe. Sure, why not? I guess now I can finally get that snakeskin wallet I've been wanting. Naruto smirked. What would a giant toad want with a snakeskin wallet anyway? Naruto looked over at Kabuto standing on Manda next to Orochimaru. I swear that Rasengan should have killed him. I hit him dead on. I splattered his innards all over my face and everything. Jiraiya looked at Naruto momentarily. If he's anything like his master then he's a bastard to kill. Don't worry kid, we're settling up right now. Tsunade looked out at Orochimaru from atop Katsuayu. This is it Orochimaru. After this there will be one less Sannin in the world. Orochimaru simply chuckled while Manda hissed under him. Orochimaru. What do you think you're doing summoning me out here? Kabuto tried to calm the massive snake down. Manda we just. Silence whelp. I won't bother speaking to a flunky like you. Manda turned angry eyes to the top of his head. When this is over I'll be expecting over 100 sacrifices. Orochimaru smirked. Of course. Nothing less for you Manda. Kabuto let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Thank goodness. If Manda knew Orochimaru-sama couldn't use jutsu he might just eat us. Jiraiya patted Naruto on the head. Alright kid, it's deadly serious now. Stay out of things unless I say otherwise. Even if you think you see an opening it's probably a feint. Naruto snorted and slapped Jiraiya's hand from his head. I'm aware of the level of this fight Ero Sennin. And I'm also not stupid enough to fall for any half-assed feints. As far as I'm concerned I'm your trump card if anything. Jiraiya looked at Naruto in a confused manner. How so Gaki? Naruto smirked. Think about it. Orochimaru can't use his arms to use jutsu. Kabuto and Shizune don't really have any long-range jutsu. You and I are the only ones that can fire stuff from a distance, and I can make an ungodly amount of cage bunshin, making tons of cannon fodder potential attackers. I'm your ace in the hole here. Jiraiya chuckled. Well I guess that's one thing about you that didn't change. You always want to be in the fight. Naruto scratched his head. Yeah, I guess it's in my blood or something. Jiraiya patted Gamabunta on the head. Let's go Bunta. Gamabunta drew his tanto and rushed at Manda who slithered away rapidly, surprising Naruto. Damn. That big-ass snake is ridiculously fast. Manda moved to Gamabunta's blind spot and attempted to bite down on him, poisonous fangs glistening in the sunlight. Gamabunta jumped aside in time to dodge the strike and hopped away. Katsuayu moved in and launched acid from her mouth at Manda. Once again showing deceptive speed Manda slipped away and rushed Gamabunta. The boss toad lifted his sword to block Manda's bite, but with a swing of his tail he knocked the sword out of Gamabunta's webbed hands. Katsuayu launched more acid out at Manda, but he dodged before it could hit. Manda rushed over to Katsuayu and began constricting her. Tsunade noticed her boss summon in dire straits. Katsuayu, separate. The massive slug did as commanded and broke off into tons of smaller forms, disorienting Manda, who had been wrapped around her at the time. Jiraiya and Gamabunta decided to take advantage of the momentary advantage given to them. Gamabunta jumped back to gain some space while Jiraiya on his head went through hand signs. Gamabunta, give me some oil. Gamabunta spat out a glob of oil as Jiraiya held his fingers to his mouth to make a fireball. Kaiten, Gameuenden, fire release, toad oil flame bullet. The massive fire stream that followed engulfed Manda, seemingly melting his figure, however it revealed to simply be a snakeskin. Manda then burst from the ground behind Gamabunta. Naruto, who had been sitting back the entire time, saw this and whipped through hand signs. Fuuten, Fuujin Seiken, wind release, divine fist of the wind god. Naruto shot out a double-fisted punch at Manda, who recoiled with the markings of fists on his face. Manda hissed as he coiled himself up, the stinging marks still evident. Little fucking brat. Jiraiya grinned at the shot Naruto had taken at the powerful summon until he blinked. Wait. Where's Tsunade? Right on cue, Tsunade flew at Manda, holding Gamabunta's tanto and slammed the blade through his mouth, pinning him to the ground. Naruto's eyes widened at the feat of strength. Arrow Sennin, remind me to never pull the crap that I tried when I first met Baa-chan ever again. Jiraiya patted his head. Well, first of all, calling her Baa-chan is just asking for it. Naruto scoffed. That's pushing it. If I won't stop calling you Arrow Sennin, then how can she stop me from calling her Baa-chan? Super strength beatdown be damned. Tsunade ran up Manda's body and began pummeling Orochimaru while Kabuto's attention was held by Shizune. Naruto's sweat dropped at the sight of the snake Sannin taking such a beating. Why, you think we should jump in or something? Jiraiya had his telescope out with a stupid grin on his face. Nah. Tsunade's got it, kid. Naruto's eye twitched as the fight persisted. No, I mean for Orochimaru. His facial structure has to be liquidated by now. Kami, let it be known that the guy can take one hell of a punch if nothing else. He can't even get up a guard to block. That sucks. Tsunade sent him flying with one last massive shot. Kabuto rushed to his side and picked him up. Orochimaru glared out at Tsunade. Damn you, Tsunade, my plans have failed for now. Do not think this is over. There is still another way to heal my arms, and the next time, I'll kill you both. With that being said, he and Kabuto sunk into the earth to make their escape. Naruto, Jiraiya, and Shizune appeared next to her as all of the summons had long since dispersed. Jiraiya slapped Naruto on the shoulder. Good job, brat. A high-level fight like this is over and you earned an ugly red smudge on the landscape. Naruto sighed and rolled his shoulder. No respect. I don't get no respect at all. Shizune smiled and kissed him on the cheek. I respect you, Naruto-kun. Naruto chuckled in disbelief and shook his head with a slight smile on his face, and that somehow made this day of bullshit somewhat worth it. Thank you, Shizune-chan. Tsunade smirked as she walked over to Naruto. Well then, brat. You won the bet, got the necklace, and now we're going back to Konoha. What are we going to do now? Naruto stood still in thought for a moment before turning on his heel and heading back to town. He waved over his shoulder as he walked away. We just got through fighting Orochimaru and I've been training non-stop for about a week. I'm going to go sleep like the dead. You guys can go do whatever the hell you want. The amassed adults had a chuckle as they heard Naruto grumbling about Kabuto's blood being all in his clothes. Tsunade shook her head at his retreating figure. He's going to be a fine man one day. And perhaps a fine Hokage too. Jiraiya put a hand on her shoulder. You don't know the half of it. A lecherous grin came upon his face. Now that that's all done, a woman like you can't be seen in clothes with blood all over them. That's a travesty. It should be a dress or nothing. Luckily for you, I happen to have no dress back in my room. Naruto could only shake his head as the sounds of a solid thwack followed by Jiraiya flying overhead towards town rang out. Jutsu list. Raiten, Denkai, lightning release, electric field, C-rank ninjutsu. Mid to close range. Requires contact points that can conduct electricity. Metal obviously works best. A field of electric chakra surrounds the intended point, keeping an adversary trapped within. If the foe attempts to physically breach the field, a powerful force will push them back within, keeping them inside. Raiten, Denki Mihimu, lightning release, electric mayhem, C-rank ninjutsu. Mid to close range. A branching technique from Raiten, Denkai. Sends random bolts of lightning between the conductor points. The more chakra used, the faster and more frequent the jolts will be. Fuuten, Fuujin Seiken, formerly Fuuten, Kazunakami Ken no Kami, Wind Release, Divine Fist of the Wind God, B-rank ninjutsu. Mid to close range. Forces the user to direct wind chakra around their hands in the blunt shape of their fist and thrust it out at their target. The impact is equal to the amount of chakra pumped into the attack, however the control must be adequate in order to use the jutsu at such a high level. Violent backlash can occur if the control over the amount of chakra is not satisfactory. Theoretically, the attack can be used to crush an opponent into paste against a solid surface, or can throw an enemy an unmeasurable distance with blunt force trauma.